Hi everybody, this is Bodacious Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new NECA San Diego Comic-Con 2025 exclusive TMNT cartoon Bodacious Beach Bros 4-pack. So first up, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessory that's meant for all of the turtles, the big surfboard. So first up, you have this large surfboard on the wave right here, and this looks really good. The surfboard itself has some really awesome texturing to it. The sculpt detail on that looks really awesome. I wish it would have had 4 pegs so you could peg all of the turtles into this. The other surfboards only have 1 peg, but this doesn't even have 1. It doesn't have any on it. So that does bother me a little bit. It does connect to the wave by a ball joint right here, so you can pose it around slightly. I doubt you're going to be posing it around like that, but you can move it around, and I think that's pretty cool. And I especially love the wave right here. It's cast in this translucent blue plastic, and that looks really good. You get some cel-shaded lines right here, as well as some white paint towards the edges. It fades into like a spray of white as it fades into the translucent blue there. And man, that looks really good. I love the paint and sculpt to this. Here they all are on the surfboard, and they can actually all fit on there. I did pose Raphael's setting because I'm pretty sure that's how he was in the promo pictures. But you can't actually fit all of the turtles on there. I just have them in vanilla poses to give you an idea of what they look like, but they can actually stand on there really well. Now if you move it, they're all definitely going to fall over because there's no pegs on there. But I do like that you can actually fit all of them on there like in the promo pictures. I think this will be really fun to do action figure photography with. You know, actually take the time to pose them in some cool poses. So that's a really cool accessory. Up next you get 2 pizza boxes and 3 pizzas. It does kind of bother me that we don't actually get 3 pizza boxes since we do have 3 pizzas. Now I was going to say that the paint on these is exactly the same. It just says pizza on the top. But if you look, this bottom one actually says pizza, and this top one says like half a D, 2 Z's, and then triangle. You can see that not all the letters actually got painted on there. I thought maybe it was meant to be that way, but then I looked and I saw that they just misprinted this one. It's really a small gripe. I mean, you're really not going to see the back of that, but it is kind of funny that that did happen. So here are all of the pizzas next to each other. These 2 are exactly the same. It looks like sausage, peppers, and pepperoni. And that looks pretty cool. You get some texturing to the crust. I'm pretty sure this is just either a recast or recolor of some existing pizza that we got. And the one that's different has pepperoni, olives, mushrooms, and peppers on it. That looks really cool. And I love that you can actually put them down in that pizza box. Each of the turtles get 4 sets of hands. For some reason, I actually have 5 sets of open hands. I have an extra set of open hands than I should have. I only have 2 of the, I think it's the fisted hands. I only have 2 pairs of them. So I don't actually have 4 pairs of those. And then I have pairs for the rest of the hands. I'll put the picture up here on screen. It's really weird that that happened. I don't know if that was intentional, but you get accessory holding hands. Up next, you get a set of open hands. And I do want to compliment NECA on making these hands really easy to switch out. Sometimes these turtle cartoon figures, the hands can be really difficult to switch out. Sometimes I have to sand them down a little bit, you know, just so they'll pop out easy and don't feel like they're going to break. But these actually pop in and out really easy. I'm really happy with how easy they are and that I won't have to sand them down any. Up next, he comes with a set of fisted hands. For his final set of hands, you get thumbs up hands. And I really wish we would have got, I don't know if that's what it's called, but a hand doing this. Because with Chucky, which is also a beach-themed figure, he actually comes with a hand that's doing that, but you don't actually get that with the turtles. I guess it would kind of look funny since they only have 3 fingers, but I really wish they would have included a hand doing that. And finally, Leonardo comes with his surfboard, and I think this is the right surfboard for him. None of the promo pictures, except for Michelangelo, actually show which turtle goes on these, so I assume I have Leonardo on the right one. If I don't have Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello on the right surfboards, don't mind that. But he can actually stand on there really well. I do wish there would have been 2 pegs on the board, just for a little more stability. But he can actually stay on there really nicely. I love the pattern on this. It's painted on really nicely. All of the surfboards have this really cool clear stand, and it's on a ball joint on the end here, so you can pose it around. So let's see. Will Leonardo stay on there if you pose it up like this? Nope, looks like he's going to fall over. You don't want to do that. So I guess you're probably going to have to kind of keep it in a regular pose like I had. Let's lean him forward again. There. So I guess that's probably the best way you're going to get the turtles on there. That's why I said I do kind of wish there was a second peg. That way when you're posing around, they won't completely fall off. But yeah, I feel like they're kind of top heavy. So if you try to pose it like up or down, I guess down it stays. It's just back that it won't stay. Or side to side. So yeah, you will definitely have to be careful of what way you're posing them on this, because if you pose it back like that, it's going to go flying off, and you could break the peg right here. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at Leonardo. So taking a look at this head sculpt, NECA did a very awesome job at sculpting and painting it. It is just a really fun looking head sculpt. You get the big hat there on Leonardo, with the blue right here outlined in black. You get his sunglasses, which I love how they painted a little glare on each of the lenses there. And it looks like underneath, they actually painted the eyes on. Like they painted the pupils on too. I can't tell. Yeah, you can vaguely see it. But they did actually paint the eyes on underneath there. It would have been cool if the glasses and the hat would have been removable, but you can't do that. But I do think it's cool that they went the extra mile and actually painted the eyes on underneath there, even though these are glued down. I do have the Pizza Club Ultimate Leonardo here, and I wanted to swap the head sculpts out. The skin tones are slightly different, but this absolutely does not work. This Leonardo head sits way too far up on the ball peg there, and this one is extremely loose. Yeah, it just falls off. So that is unfortunate. It would have been really cool if they would have made the skin tones match. That way you could swap, the expressions and the eyes out on the new Beach Brothers head sculpts. Before I put the head sculpts back on, I did want to see if you could at least switch the lower expressions instead of the head sculpts, and you can't do that either. Really would have been cool if this would have been compatible. You could probably mod it out and make it compatible, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. So that does suck that you can't even do that if you want to. The skin tones wouldn't perfectly match up, but it wouldn't be a big difference. Yeah, I guess that is a big difference now that I actually have that on there. Leonardo's button-up shirt looks really good. It's yellow with these blue cloud-looking designs on it. And that looks really good. It would have been cool if the shirt would have been fabric like his shorts are, but I'm actually pretty happy with the way they did this. So the shell up here is actually sculpted to the inside of the shirt, and if you look underneath, it's just really smooth in there. It's just big to give the illusion that their shells are actually underneath there. You can actually see that they did sculpt it so that it has a hump for where the back of the shell is. And I think that looks really good. And because you get a lot of room in the front here, the articulation isn't hindered a lot. It is still kind of hindered because of this being a sculpted piece, but not that much. So I do actually like the way that NECA did that. I actually thought that this had some reused parts, but I think everything on this figure is brand new, which leads me to believe we're probably going to get some more single turtles or maybe 2-pack turtles. So you can see that the back on the Pizza Club turtles, you get a sculpted wrinkle right here, and you just get it painted on line. There's only one wrinkle right here. And with the sculpt on this one, the sculpt is similar on the wristband right here, but the sculpt is a lot softer. You don't get a defined sculpt line right there. And instead of 3 sculpted and painted on lines on the knee pads, you do get 1. I thought maybe even the feet were reused, but no, these feet are actually different. So I'm pretty sure everything on this mold is brand new. I know, of course, the shirt and the sleeves were brand new, but I really thought they'd probably just reuse these parts from the previous turtles. But no, it looks like all of the turtles have brand new sculpted parts. So I do think that's pretty cool. His tailored shorts look really good, and they gave enough extra material right here that you can actually move his legs around really nicely. I'm really happy with the way they did that. And they're all the way up here. There is a little bit of a lip right here that they go into, that way they won't fall down or anything while you're posing him around. And then there's the back of the figure. I just think this is really well done. Like I said, I'm really happy that you get a bunch of new parts. Other than the lines painted on right here, you don't get a whole lot of cell shading, but I still think it looks good nonetheless. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So you do get articulated mask ties right here, It does hit on the hat for Leonardo, but it can move side to side. I wish it could move up and down like on the previous turtles. He can look up just about all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side and around very nicely. He has shoulders that can move out that far. The left side does move out just a little more than the right. He has a swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows that can actually bend in a decent amount, swivel wrist that can move side, or all the way around I should say, and up and down, a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back all the way, and he can move forward a decent amount. Like I said, because of it being completely smooth up here, you do get some extra room. It is still just a little bit hindered, but not as much as I thought it would be. It can move side to side, I think just down here at the waist. If you hold up here and twist it, yeah, you can actually move that, but that's a little tough. He can move around just a little bit. He has ball jointed hips that can actually do a complete split. Like I said, they gave him enough material right here, that way you won't rip the shorts. He can kick forward all the way and back all the way. It feels like he has a swivel up here in the thigh, but you can hear how clicky it is. It definitely doesn't want to move. He has double jointed knees that can only move back that far, ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a nice ankle rocker. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at Michelangelo. So as I mentioned, Michelangelo is the only turtle that has a definitive surfboard that goes to him. As the promo picture showed that off, he comes with the surfboard with the sail on it. And it looks really good, the sail itself. I will say if you try to get his hands on this, you are going to rub green onto the sail. So that does bother me a little bit. It also makes this incredibly side heavy. And the tiny ball joint on here just can't handle all that weight. So it's either going to snap it or make it tumble. I haven't been able to get him posed around on this at all and it actually stand up. It just wants to drop off. Which you could take this off, but it's really secure in there and I haven't been able to do that. So if you try to take it off, you could break it. So I am disappointed that you can't actually get him posed normally. You know, I tried even just to get him standing, but like I said, because that sail, it just makes it way too heavy on that right side. It's just going to tumble around every time. So that is disappointing. You can see that he also came unpegged because of how much he's falling over. So taking a look at Michelangelo, NECA did a very awesome job on this figure as well. I love the expression that he has. He looks incredibly happy. Doesn't look like his mask is quite flush to his face. You can see a little bit of gappage right there. I mean, everywhere else is flush. So that is kind of odd. But I really love the expression on his face there. You can see a lot more of the sculpt detail on him because he doesn't have a shirt on. And that actually looks pretty cool. You can really tell that this is a new body mold here. You can see that his muscles are bigger, the front of his shell's a bit bigger. That's why I said I feel like NECA's definitely going to give us more either 2-pack or single-release turtles on this new body mold. The new body mold is definitely bulkier, but I like the way that looks. I think that looks really cool. Do I need more turtles? No, not really, because I think I have just about all of the NECA turtle figures, like the actual brothers. I think I have just about all of them, so I don't really think I need another one, but man, these newer, bulkier body molds, that would look really cool as single releases. You get more paint detail on him, like the black in between his shell right there, as well as the back of his shell. You can see some scuff marks right here on the pattern on his shell. Just like with all of the other figures in this pack, he has soft goods shorts. The difference is his are really high up. They're just about up to his chest. They're so high. But I think they look really good. Mine's left leg isn't laying quite right. I think it got stuck up in the joint in the package. So it's kind of bunched up. I don't want to pull that down. But actually, yeah, it does look like they sculpted his belt on. So yeah, we're probably definitely going to be getting a single release of this figure on the new mold. One thing that's really weird is the right bicep on mine is extremely loose and it pops off. You can see that it's not broke, but anytime I try to articulate his shoulder here, move it out, it does tend to pop off. I do kind of have to hold it really good right here and then move it up to get it moving out. It does look like the joint had a lot of extra mold release on it, like that kind of jelly they put on it so that the joints move smoothly. So maybe that's why. But yeah, I definitely have to be careful when articulating him because of that. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has an articulated mask tie that can move all the way around. He can look all the way up. He can look down just about, well, he can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side and around all the way. The left shoulder moves out that much. Let's see if I can get the right shoulder moving out. Yeah, well, it doesn't move out quite as far, but it does move out. He has swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows, which, if yours is like mine, you will have to hold the bicep here when you're articulating the elbow. The joints on his arms are just really stiff. But he has double jointed elbows that can bend in that far, wrists that can move all the way around and up and down. He does have a ball jointed diaphragm and waist. They can't really move back that far. Doesn't really move down that far either. Doesn't move side to side. You can hear the noise it's making. He has ball jointed hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward all the way. He can kick back just a little bit. His shorts might fall down here if you do that. The thigh swivel is really limited on him as well. You can hear the noise it's making too. He has double jointed knees that can move back that far, ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, his shorts are falling down again, and rock side to side. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at Raphael. So here Raphael has his surfboard, and he doesn't want to stand up on this at all. Maybe if I got him in a more neutral pose. No, that ball peg just wants to throw him around. I don't know why Leonardo fits on there the best. I guess maybe it's because his ball peg on the stand is the tightest. But yeah, even getting Raphael in a neutral pose on this, you can see it's just wanting to fall back. And that could break Raphael's ankle or the peg on this board. So yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think NECA did a decent job on this. I do wish Raphael's head would have been a little bit more happy. I mean, the expression that he has is definitely like the character. But I feel like he has kind of like an evil grin going on. I wish he had a more genuine happy look on his face. He does have a way different hat than everyone else. He has a cap with an R on the front there. I think that looks pretty good for the most part. I did forget to mention that with the exception of Leonardo, the faces don't feel like they're meant to be switched out. Like, none of the other head sculpts feel like they're meant to pop off. I was going to swap the expression on this one with Michelangelo's just to see how it would look, a genuine smile. And yeah, this head sculpt doesn't want to pop off, and this top piece doesn't want to pop off either. So yeah, I don't think that you're actually meant to switch their expressions. I think Leonardo's coming off whenever I took him out of the package might have been a mistake. It's not loose or anything, but I definitely don't think you're meant to switch any of the expressions in this pack. It looks like Raphael has the same exact sculpt to his shirt as Leonardo here, because you can see how the very bottom button right here is smaller, and it's the exact same on him. The only thing that's different, of course, is the paint on his shirt. I do love the paint on his shirt, though. I think this definitely looks like an 80s shirt with the pattern that it has. The colors are very vibrant on this one, and it just really pops. I especially love the colors on his shirt in particular. You get blue shorts with him. It's made out of the same material as the other shorts, and it feels like a really good material. It doesn't feel like a material that's going to wear down over time, or fray or anything like that. I think they made the shorts out of a really nice material, and they gave some extra material right here. That way you can pose them around, get them down on their surfboards in realistic poses. I just really like how they tailored these. I think that looks really good. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So his mask tie spins all the way around. He can look up very slightly. He can look down very slightly. He can move his head side to side. You can hear how tight that sounds. And around just a little bit. He has shoulders that can move out that far. He has swivel biceps, double jointed elbows that can actually bend in that far, wrists that can move all the way around and up and down, a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back all the way. He actually has some really good forward crunching movement there. I think he has the best diaphragm joint out of all of them. You can also move him side to side and all the way around really nicely. He has hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward all the way. back all the way. He has an excellent thigh swivel. The articulation sounds a little stiff right here, but it's actually not. So you can actually articulate that really nicely. He has double jointed knees that can move back that far, ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a nice ankle rocker. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the final figure in this set, Donatello. Here Donatello is on his surfboard, and this one can actually hold him up. I will say the ball joint on this clear stand isn't quite as sturdy as Leonardo's, but it is sturdy enough that you can pose him around decently well without him falling off, or, the surfboard moving all the way around. I think the paint on this looks really good with the shell right there, but I get some scuffage right here on the board, and you can see that the paint is really textured right here. I think they put way too much paint on in the factory, or it didn't dry properly. You can see how, even though these aren't sculpted on these lines, they're actually raised because of how much paint is on there. There's nothing on the bottom, but yeah, you can actually see how textured that is because of all of the paint on there. So taking a look at Donatello's head sculpt, I absolutely love the way that NECA sculpted this. He has this really wide, happy expression on his face. It's painted really nicely. You get a different type of hat for him. Not sure what kind of hat this is, but it looks really good. You get this outlined in black, as well as some cel-shaded lines right there. That looks really good. Donatello actually has a different sculpt to his shirt than Raphael and Leonardo. You can see that his shirt has 4 buttons on it because it's longer, and it's a bit wider as well. You still get the cel-shaded lines like here on the forearms and the back of the arms, as well as on the elbow and knee pads. He has these mint green shorts on, and I think that looks really good. His articulation is pretty nice too, because since this is a bit wider, he has even more clearance up his shirt right there for the joint. So not much more to go over on the figure other than that. I do think all of the trees are painted really nicely on there. They're outlined in black. So another really good looking figure from this set. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation, which isn't much different than the other turtles, but I'm still going to go ahead and go over that. So the mask tie, it can only move that much before it hits on the hat right here. He can look up all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side and all the way around. He has shoulders that can move out that far. Swivel biceps that can move side to side. Double jointed elbows that can bend in that far. Wrists that can spin all the way around and up and down. He has a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back that far. He can crunch forward a decent amount. You can see that it has a little bit more give in the middle because there's more room up here. He can move side to side and all the way around. He has hips. Now, on this one, on his shorts, it doesn't feel like you can move them out all the way. So, he doesn't feel like he has any excess material. So, you don't want to move him out too far, or you could split the seam there on his shorts. So, he can only move out that far. He can kick forward that far, but you do start to bend his shirt if you do that. He can't kick back quite that much. He does have a decent thigh swivel, double jointed knees that can move back that far, ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a nice ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up here they are next to the Pizza Club Leonardo and Donatello figures. Again, I do think it's unfortunate that they didn't match the skin tones up. That way you could switch the head sculpts and expressions from the Beach Brothers onto the Pizza Club versions and vice versa. Here they are next to the Turtles in Disguise Michelangelo and Raphael figures. Here they are next to the only vibrant turtle that I could find from that 4-pack. I think it was the Style Guide Collars 4-pack. Michelangelo there. And finally here they are next to the Beach Vacation Bebop and Rocksteady. And Bebop cannot stand. I just recently got this pack, and he can't stand for anything. I don't know if that's a widespread issue, but he is constantly knocking down every figure that I have him around. So, overall, I think NECA did a very good job on this 4-pack. I just think it's a ton of fun. You know, the accessories are really awesome, I love the surfboards, and the turtles themselves look really good. I love the design of them, and the collars on them really pop. I especially love that all of them get soft good shorts. I think that looks really good. It would have been cool if on Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo they actually had soft good shirts too, but I think they look good for the most part for being sculpted on shirts. The only real problem that I have with this set is not all of the surfboards actually do what they're supposed to. You know, if you put some of the turtles on the surfboards, then they're just going to fall over, and you run the risk of either breaking the peg on the surfboard or the turtles falling off and breaking too. So I do think that is a bit unfortunate that some of the surfboards can't actually take the weight of them. Other than that, though, I will say I do enjoy this set, and I hope that everyone that wanted one was able to get one. Since this is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, you could only get it if you went to the show or you pre-ordered it online, which is what I did. But I'm really happy that I pre-ordered it because I love the set. You know, I don't think it's a must-have for everybody, but I still think it's really fun. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.